technician.
The technician.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Watch the Skeet. Today's guest is a true Manxman and a born competitor. FC IOM striker and captain Seàn Doyle. After starting his first season for the Ravens on the bench, scoring 42 goals that year was certainly something he didn't expect to achieve, but nevertheless, he managed to do this and captain his team to a playoff win. He's also a two-sport Island Games athlete with a gold medal in 2017 and a background in basketball that spanned nearly a decade. From setbacks to comebacks, Sean's journey is all about pride, persistence and passion for the Isle of Man. Right, let's get into it. What's the Skeet, Sean? How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. Been enjoying the lovely weather we've got used to over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, can't complain. Got my Manx tan on as well.
We've been gifted, haven't we?
Absolutely, have been. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. So what else has been going on? What's been going on? Talk to me through a little bit about FC Isle of Man over the last season. How are things going?
Yeah, season started well, finished poorly, should we say, put it politely. We were in a very good place November, December time, in 4th place, challenging for the playoff spot, which is obviously what the club's all about.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we kind of took a nosedive from there on out.
Right.
January through to the end of the season, performances weren't good enough, and we finished in 15th place, so it's quite a dramatic drop when you're looking at in December. We were in a very, very good place, and then end the season, it's disappointing to not be in and around where we were come December, and ultimately not in the playoff spots. So yeah, disappointing end to the season.
Right, and do you think that some of that is commitment from players or environment? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I would say definitely commitment has an aspect to it. It's a huge commitment, which I think everybody who knows what the club's about, they know how much commitment it is for the players, work commitments, injuries, availability, talent pool as well. Not to put any disrespect towards the players, but when we're facing teams who can bring in people who've had a serious experience in the UK playing League 1, League 2, National League football, and then we're calling on players when we've got injuries or availability problems, and the players we're bringing in are 17, 18, 19-year-olds who haven't had that experience or exposure before. So the quality of players that we need right in that moment isn't where it needs to be. So yeah, that's been a challenge to try and make sure that we can get some good quality players in the right positions at the right times in games, and I think that's something that the club will always struggle with, because naturally we don't have a huge talent pool of footballers what the UK football players do, and also we don't get paid as well, so that has another issue.
Is the clubs in your league that do get paid?
Yeah, I think as far as I'm aware, there's only been 2 teams we've ever played against since the inception of FC Isle of Man, where they don't get paid.
Seriously?
Yeah, so there's some people who are getting some pretty good money. There was one player rumoured to be getting £600 a game a couple of seasons ago.
That drives you forward, doesn't it?
And Bury AFC, they won the league this year, and a lot of their players would probably be on £200 to £300 a game. So yeah, and potentially goal bonuses or clean sheet bonus as well. It makes a massive impact on making yourself available for every game.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and training through the week as well. How many hours a week would FC? I mean, I know personally, I don't know a lot about the Ravens really, but that's why I've got you on here, so I can learn a little bit about it. But how many hours a week would you guys be putting in?
Yeah, so we're putting in probably 4 or 5 hours of training a week, and then a lot of the lads will do stuff separately. So some lads do gym sessions, they'll do the CrossFit sessions, they'll do their own things, and then ultimately we're spending, in 3 months this season, we're spending 4 or 5 hours of our day on a Saturday going on the boat to and from games, and some away days, like I think Paddyham is about an hour and a half coach journey there and an hour and a half back.
Nice.
And typically it's got to be, I think on that one we did an overnight stay in Manchester as well. So it's a big commitment for what the players do week in, week out.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot behind the scenes. That's not just 90 minutes of football on a Saturday.
100%, especially if you've got a day job as well and a family, you end up just having Sundays free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spend any time with people.
But then naturally you're spending Tuesday, Thursday training, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday you're focused on making sure you're eating the right things, drinking the right things. So it turns what used to be an amateur sport to a very professional outlook, because you're really focused on it in a serious way to make sure you can be good enough.
Do you feel like the professional outlook takes the fun away?
It has and it hasn't at times. I think it was a novelty at first, which was fantastic. First season, having that experience of playing at a higher level, having people who are true fans supporting you week after week. That was really, really cool. But then, it can wear thin at times when you maybe selfishly, when results aren't going your way, your job's taken over a little bit, and those sort of aspects kind of take the fun away from it a little bit. It's no longer just going to kick a ball about with your mates. It's really 46 games in a season. It's a big drive, a big commitment that you need to keep sticking at week after week.
6 games, man, that's a lot.
I
didn't realise it was that much, actually.
Yeah, 40. So there's 24 teams in our league, which is, from what I think, in the UK football system, it's the most amount of teams in the whole league, in any league.
Wow.
So it's an incredible amount of fixtures we have to play week after week.
That gets costly in a hurry too, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. The club have got to find a lot of money to sponsor and fund the club to make sure that we can get away, and we also fund the teams that come to the Isle of Man as well.
Seriously?
Yeah. So we pay their travel fees.
Why?
If they're staying over for the night or anything, we've got to fund it all. It was part of the commitment.
Seriously, that's a stitch up, mate.
So it's about
that's a stitch up.
Yeah, we've been done over. No, I think it was part when the club was formed. I think it was part of that was maybe one of the staples which we had to fulfil. Otherwise, naturally, like other clubs at our level, they haven't got the budget and the means to be able to get to and from the island. So for us to be able to enter the UK system, that was what we had to do. So it won't be forever. 2 more promotions, I think it is.
Yeah.
Then we will be able to. We get national funding, so clubs will have to pay their own way. So so it makes a big difference. That's why there's such a focus and driver on getting the club up the pyramid.
Right, okay.
Because the sooner we get up, the less money the club need to spend, and ultimately the sponsors on Ireland need to spend as well.
Right. But then where did this all start, Sean? Talk to me. Let's go back a little bit here. Where does your love for sport actually come from? Where's this idea of being involved in FC IOM, man? Where does that all begin?
For me, well, as a kid, I've always been a competitor. I've loved sport my whole life. I've always I've played every sport under the sun. And I've had 2 older brothers who were always better, quicker, stronger, faster, everything than me. So naturally, that having that competition, that edge of having those brothers that will just beat you at everything, and at times also physically beat you up as well. So that kind of gives you that aspect of toughening you up and that competition in you as well.
Instantly, as soon as you come out the womb, you're fighting, aren't you?
100%. And my older brother Connor, he was before he left the island one of the best footballers on the island. So he was kind of that role model. But also the competitor in me wanting to be better than him, and spending all those days and nights in the garden, him welling balls at me. Maybe that's toughened me up a little bit to be ready for the step up to senior and adult football as well.
Wow. What age did you start playing footy then?
I honestly couldn't even tell you. It was that young. I don't even remember playing. I think it was maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Just running through the family, you probably just dragged along to games.
Probably, I think that's what it was. I remember being a kid and going and watch my 2 brothers play football. Obviously, Connor was the main one who was really good at it. But I think I've always had a passion for football, and I've played other sports along the way. But football was kind of that always that game or sport that I always played throughout my childhood.
Yeah, basketball's a big deal though too, isn't it?
Yeah,
you mentioned about that. That was a bit of a curveball actually when I heard about that. When you said about that, I thought, I wonder where basketballs came from. Where did that all start? Because basketball on the Isle of Man is not actually a huge sport, is it really?
It used to be. Back about probably say 20, 30 years ago, it was a huge sport. You had 2 leagues of 10 teams. You had a lot of players.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was a serious sport back in the day. And for whatever reason, the numbers have just declined. I think as other sports like hockey, rugby, you know yourself from rugby, the numbers are still increasing all the time.
Rugby's now back up again. It had a dip after COVID, but it's back up again now.
So my mum played basketball. This is probably where the link was initially. But then even still, that was when I was a real, probably 3, 4, 5, 6 years old was when she was playing basketball. And it wasn't until I was 14, 15 I started playing basketball seriously.
You're quite tall, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. It's funny you say that, because at 14...
perfect size for the job,
I was a dwarf at 14, 15. I was small for my age. There's a funny photo of me at 16 years old, and I'm by far the smallest in my group of friends.
Really?
Yeah, some of the boys were touching 6 foot at 16 years old, and I was 5'6".
Just a late bloomer.
Oh, there you go, late bloomer. Yeah, you put it very politely there. And then and I think my PE teacher at the time, Mr. Ben Ayres, he needed some athletes who maybe can do a bit of crossover of sports. So some of the footballers went and played basketball during that period of school sports. And I really enjoyed it. So at 14, I then joined the Western, like the kids club, basketball club.
Yeah.
And then just never really looked back. And then by 17, 18, I was getting scholarship offers to go and play in America.
Nice.
Which was it was really cool experience. It was 4 years of growth.
You must have been all right at it then.
Yeah. So well,
you couldn't have been terrible.
yeah. No, I was at the time I was pretty good, and I played at 25. I think I was two times MVP. For the Isle of Man League, so
right.
so I was pretty handy at basketball, but ultimately football was still.
Was that the main one? Was it?
Yeah, there was a period where basketball became a main sport, but then when I was unfortunate not to go to America on a scholarship, football kind of then came to the forefront again, and then joined Corinthians at 19, 20, and then changed positions, which is it's quite in the football scene. It's quite an ongoing joke between myself and Paul Jones, the manager.
Yeah.
Because I was a left back, and Paul Jones, the manager, always thought I would be a centre back, and then just somehow made my way up front.
Wow.
So yeah, the Peter Crouch, should we call me?
Yeah, the Peter Crouch of the Isle of Man.
Absolutely. So yeah, so one thing led to another, and I became a striker, and then I haven't really looked back since.
That's pretty cool, man. I just want to dive in a little bit to this basketball and getting these scholarships to America. Talk to me how come about why you didn't go first of all. What stopped you from going?
Yeah, so I was really lucky. I had a couple of basketball offers, and then I had a couple of.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, which it's obviously an absolute honour to be able to even say that a college in America wants you to come and play for their college.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of football offers. So Seàn Doyle, who's arguably had one of the best footballing careers from the Isle of Man, looking further afield. He got me an offer from his college that he went to.
Is he a relation of yours?
No relation, funnily enough. He's actually a good friend of my older brother.
Right, okay.
But no relation to the family, but just a friend of my brother's. And yeah, he got me a football scholarship offer, which unfortunately eventually got rescinded. So then I was weighing up whether to go for football, whether to go for basketball. I went to the Jersey Island Games with basketball at the time. My first ever Island Games, I think I must have been about 18, 19 years old.
That must have been exciting, dude.
Really cool experience. And both my brothers were born in Jersey. My parents lived in Jersey, so it kind of had a bit more of a link than just going to play sport. It kind of meant something to me as well and the family.
Definitely.
And then my parents, my brother was there playing football for the Ireland team, and my mum was there watching. And
I bet she had tears in her eyes, man.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience for her. And then 4 minutes into the first game, we were playing against Jersey, and a fella awkwardly landed on my leg, and I broke my ankle. So then
not ideal.
Yeah, that's not ideal at all. I could say a few other words, but probably not acceptable for the mic.
Not ideal.
And then so I spent the whole week in Jersey on crutches and in cast with a broken foot or broken ankle.
So then how did you have to relook from there then? What sort of approach did you take of the situation?
So then it was rehab for 3-4 months, but that was in July time, so it meant the scholarship I either had to go to America still in cast, which wasn't really an option for me. I didn't want to go out there injured.
Yeah.
Especially with my parents spending quite a bit of money to make the scholarship a thing as well.
Yeah.
So then it was either go injured and see what I can make of it, or put it behind me and move on and see what other options.
That must have been challenging, man.
Yeah, it was.
Putting that behind you.
Yeah,
how did you feel like that
struggle.
period what was that period like?
It was turbulent.
Trying to
really.
bounce back from that.
It was really turbulent, I think, because you don't really. There's a lot of uncertainty. I spent 2 years of my life thinking I was going to kind of follow my brother's footsteps, go to America on a scholarship, and kind of live my life in America. I had grand plans to spend 4 years of scholarship.
Bet you did.
And I didn't. My intentions at the time would not have been to come back to the island. So I was going to live in America, maybe settle down, play sport out there, turn pro if it was an option. Who knows?
It's crazy how your life can just
and
turn, can't
it flipped very quickly at the time. I was a lifeguard as well, so I'd saved up money to move to America. So then I made the call with my parents. We said, you know what, this isn't the right option anymore for my life, my future. So let's look to, at the time, let's spend the next couple of years playing football and basketball in the Isle of Man. See if I can maybe try and turn pro in the UK instead.
Yeah.
And get an office job. So then everything changed. My career changed. My sporting outlook changed. And then luckily enough, I've had some amazing memories over the last 10 years. But if I always look back and have one regret or one thing that kind of gives me a bit of a frustration, it's definitely that, because
man, that would eat your old be?
Like, look, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
got a fantastic girlfriend, a puppy, a house.
Yeah.
Had some amazing sporting memories now, looking back 10 years.
You can't
but
change it, and you wouldn't change it, would you?
But yeah, looking back 10 years ago, I'm sure I also would have had a fantastic time if I'd gone to America. So
Exactly.
yeah, one of those things.
What did that time teach you, though, Sean? What, in your day-to-day life now, what did that sort of period as a young man, because that can be really difficult, that can send young men off the rails, that sort of thing, when the hopes built up for something. What sort of, what skills do you use from that period in your life now as a working man? You've got, like you say, house, wife, young little pup there.
Just want to clarify, it's not a wife yet.
Oh, sorry, not wife,
You're
girlfriend.
putting pressure on me there, girl. I'm getting enough pressure as it is.
Get a ring out, boy.
Jesus.
That's the first step.
There you go.
Not me wife.
Yeah, can we edit that?
Yet.
Can we edit that? Yeah, taught me resilience is the key word there, 100%. Yeah, it was a tricky time. Definitely, like everyone speaks about mental well-being and mental health.
Yeah.
That definitely teaches you to be tough, to take the knocks as well, because you are going to get knocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the time, I not to take the conversation too heavy. My other brother was really unwell at the time, so my challenges with injuries and sport kind of paled in comparison to the challenges my brother was going through at the time. So
yeah,
seeing him go through tough times, but then obviously me having my own personal tough times, I think naturally it gives you that tougher, thicker skin to take the blows and move on and try and find other positives you can look at as well. So
doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
That's yeah, it's fascinating actually. That really, and the Island Games. You've been once for basketball.
Yeah.
In 20. What year was that? 20.
I went in 2019, I think it was. No, so I went twice for basketball. I went in 2015 to Jersey.
Right.
And then 2017 I went with football, won the gold medal, and then 2019 I went with basketball again.
Oh, so you've been three times to the Island Games?
3 times to the Island Games.
Oh boy.
And then
I'm
very, very lucky to be able to go this year with football as well.
Right, you off this year as well, are you?
Off this year as well. So.
Oh God.
Me and the boys are in prep at the minute, so.
Nice.
Yeah,
so who do you go with? Is it FC IOM going then, or is it Island team?
Yeah, so it's the Isle of Man Football Association national team.
What's the difference?
So you've got two football teams. Team one is FC IOM, which is a club which enters the club pyramid, so your league system, and then you have the national team which enters the Island Games, which typically doesn't really
Manx team.
Yeah, Manx national team. Is known
right.
So you've got the Manx national team, and then you've got a club which is FC IOM. So
right.
Typically, when you've looked at it in the past, when it first started, the aim was to have the best players in Manx football playing for FC IOM and pushing the league system.
But has that taken players out of the actual island Manx football league?
100%, yeah.
How do you navigate that then? Get into that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a political conversation.
Yeah, I want to have it with you.
Now.
Let me hear your view of that, because I know there's been controversy about it, probably.
100%, yeah, 100% there has been.
And how is FC Isle of Man? Obviously, you're stepping down from your captaincy this year, but in your time of being there, how has FC Isle of Man navigated that? Because certainly in rugby, it would certainly ruffle a few feathers. So 100%. How has the football community taken that?
You've hit the nail on the head. It ruffled feathers. I think my point of view, it was absolutely the best thing for Manx football. Purely because there has been historically so many footballers over the last 20 years who have had to find their own way to get across the UK, to fund themselves, to try and turn pro, turn semi-pro, or just get better opportunities. Yeah. So there's so many players. I think Paul Jones did a statistic before FC started, and I think it was something ridiculous. Like, it was easily like 70, 80, 90 footballers in the last 10, 15 years have played football off the Isle of Man, but they've had to fund it themselves, their parents, their family. So for me, FC Isle of Man is the best thing to be able to get Manx footballers off the Isle of Man into the UK system. And the leagues that we play in, they're so highly scouted. There's so many people watching. It does have, that's a real good feeder up the league.
Exposure for players,
100%,
sort of thing.
Yeah, exposure. So for me, it's fantastic. But naturally, when we mentioned ruffling feathers, it's because, like you'll know in rugby as well, if someone from Vagabonds or someone from Southern Nomads or someone from Ramsey rugby team went and joined Douglas, it would piss people off naturally.
It does. Yeah.
So then what we're talking about happening here is you're taking 30, 40 of the best footballers, never mind just moving from one team to the next. They are leaving the Manx footballing system, and then they are going and playing football in the UK. So
right,
for the players and for the sport, it's fantastic because it's upping the level of the best players.
Yeah, definitely.
And giving everyone a clear path to where they could get to.
Yeah.
So for the players who are 10 to 16, this is a tangible, easily link that can get them to the UK systems now.
Oh, like a route.
Yeah,
the Isle of Man
absolutely.
footy players have a route if they want to take it to go out and
100%.
get that exposure from people.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
But then you look at it if you're looking at it from a selfish perspective, if you're involved in a club, like my local team, Corinthians, I think over the last 4 years, about 10 to 15 players have had to leave Corinthians to go and play for FC IOM.
Do they have to leave or do they choose to leave?
Choose, yeah. So yeah, it's a choice, isn't it? The players can easily turn it down. So we have had that. There's a few players for air in the time who 100% are good enough to play football for FC IOM.
Yeah.
But for their own,
Northerners made that a bit differently.
I'm not going to make too many. I don't want to say anything too controversial. But yeah, it's for their own choices, their own reasons.
Yeah, definitely.
They've chosen that. It's not
like that.
Yeah, it's not for them. They don't want to do it, and that's completely understandable. So yeah.
But has this affected the Manx League? Has this gave by 15 players leaving Corinthians, mate? Is that going to affect their league place in the Isle of Man sort of 100%. Thing? Does that have a knock-on effect?
A huge effect. So St George's was always the team of the last 15 years.
Yeah, when I was a kid,
football.
They were the ones.
Yeah, Andy Bass been on the stalk. He was one of the players, and like the Basses are synonymous for dominance in Manx football. Chris Bass Senior was the manager. Chris Bass Junior, arguably one of the best players that's ever been created on the Isle of Man.
Produced.
Produced, absolutely. So when you see a team like Corinthians, my team, the year before FC IOM started, we didn't lose a game. We won the league. We won all the cups that were available. So we kind of dominated Manx football for that season. But then when you take all the best players out, and then you take some from Russian, you take some from Peel, you take some from other clubs, then what we found over the last 4 years. So you look at the final that's on next weekend. You've got a Ramsey versus Laxey final, and 5 years ago. 10 years ago, that was never going to happen. It would be once in a blue moon.
Is that better though? I think that's better, isn't it?
My personal opinion is I think it's fantastic because you're seeing teams that are now challenging in quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals.
Makes it more exciting too for the actual.
You've seen teams like this season alone. You've seen Peel have won the league, Ayr won a cup. Ramsey and Laxey are either going to win. One of them teams will win the cup. You've seen the shared silverware between different teams that haven't had that experience before.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think it's a great thing. Naturally, it's made the league maybe a little bit weaker in terms of standard.
Yeah.
But then who knows? Like I don't know because I'm not close enough to it at the minute. But there was teams at the bottom end of Division 1 that would have 5-10 years ago been on the end of a lot of hammerings and a lot of 7, 8, 9 nils. And you don't really see them score lines anymore.
Right.
So
Okay.
I think it's kind of regulated the league a little bit.
I like that.
So I think it's a good thing. Yeah, 100%.
Gives players confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yes, they might be slightly weaker, but the competition being more even only raises the bar, doesn't it? I suppose.
Absolutely. And it's good, and because now we do have there's still some young players like Charlie Higgins and other lads, Kyle Watsons, who are the young players of FC IOM. This is a really good opportunity for them to be stepping up, trying to play UK football. And who knows, like Kyle Watson's a good example. He's 21, 22, he's an accountant, or working towards being a qualified accountant. So he's now got the opportunity where he's getting exposure to UK football while still going through his exams on the Isle of Man. And it's a good experience for him at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Who knows whether he'll turn professional or semi-pro, get any offers. But
meeting the right people too.
He can work side by side with his career and his football career.
Yes, I like that.
So it's good. Whereas previously, someone like him or other players would have had to buy themselves, move to the UK, and take a chance. And it's a gamble that a lot of people, homeboys and homegirls and other sports, that they don't want to take that jump because it's too risky, or maybe they're a bit scared, or whatever it is.
Right.
So this is a way of people kind of dipping their toe in the water of, do I want to play sport in the UK or not? So I think it's a really good thing.
That's very true. And what's the support been like recently for FC IOM? You said that we've had a bit of a downfall since just after Christmas there. I think I remember the year that you guys got promoted, and I followed it slightly. What's changed?
It's hard. So naturally, probably the main things, the novelty's worn off a little bit.
Okay.
So first season, That's going to be a key impact on it. And maybe if the club's reflecting on what they did at the start of the second season, changing prices, different things, maybe that might have made a bit of impact or change. And who knows? We'll never really know if that was a big factor.
Yeah.
But naturally, so first season,
novelty.
It's going to be a novelty of it. It's something that people haven't experienced before. And the fact that we were on this winning run, like we hardly lost a game all season.
On a charge.
Yeah, we were absolutely. So from the turn of the year, I remember the last game before Christmas, we played Sandbach. We lost 5-3, and we were still in the playoffs, but we said we were playing second place and third place, and we were sat in fifth at the time.
Yeah.
And that was the first week of January, and we said if we don't win these, this practically could be our season over. We won both, and then we went on a run, and we just beat every team after that. And we ended up finishing second in the playoffs.
Injury is back, so to speak.
So that's what we did, and we needed it, and at the time it was unbelievable because you're going on this run, you're having a load of home games, you're having 2,000 plus people coming to watch you.
Yeah, that's mad.
It was unbelievable.
That's mad.
So in terms of the league games, to go on that run was. Honestly, I can't put into words how special it was to. Like, I'm used to going up to Ballafletcher playing with Corinthians, and maybe you've got about 30 people watching you.
Yeah.
And the next thing, you're coming out for your first home game of the season, fresh season for FC IOM, and you've got 2,500 people.
I'd be shitting my pants.
I was shitting my pants as well. Yeah, I remember in the warm up. I remember doing my first couple of passes, and I could hardly pass the ball. My legs were shaking. I
got
was
the old
nervous.
jelly legs.
100%.
Oh, nightmare.
I'm trying to warm up, and I'm just looking around, thinking, Jesus, like these are all paying money to come and watch us play football. It's insane.
That is bizarre because you'd walk out of that stadium and you'd be walking down Strand Street tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'd be walking in with all these people who just came to watch it.
100%. And you turn into the players that after that season, or during the season and after that, you've somehow like turned into mild celebrities, which is insane to say because it's amateur football. We're not getting paid.
Yeah.
And it's just random people down the street that you probably walk past 100 times and you'd have no idea who they are.
Small community, innit?
And then next thing, like I remember I went for a walk with my missus Laura. And I think I can't remember where it was on the island, and it was just on a Sunday after a game, home game, and I remember missing a couple of chances and had a bad game. And some old boy, I didn't even know. Yeah, some old boy was like, bloody hell, you missed a couple of chances yesterday, didn't you, Doyle? Giving me obviously a load of jip, and it made me realise, like, look, one, I was a bit offended that some random guy was giving me stick.
I bet you were fuming, mate. That was a killer to the ego.
It was a bit of a dig. But then also at the same time, it was pretty cool to the fact that some random fella, I don't know, he probably didn't know me 3 days ago, and he's come down, watched the game, and we've kind of got that bit of a relationship and a friendship just through football and just through FC IOM.
Calling you a bottle job.
Yeah, call me a bottle job. So safe to say I didn't make the same mistake the next week anyway. So
exactly, but is that because you started off so well? Did that mean after you sort of started feeling pressure from the crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pressure on game day.
That's negative then, isn't it? You've had a big positive, like, right, it's going well. How did you deal with the negatives of the crowd?
It was hard. Like I speak about it quite. I've spoken about it quite a bit.
Especially being a striker, you're responsible for scoring the bloody
my
goals,
job.
aren't you?
I know, absolutely.
Pull your finger out.
I know. So, but it's social pressure is a huge thing. Like the players we play against, they won't have that social pressure of the thousands of people coming to watch and expecting you to win, expecting obviously because at the time we were flying, we were beating teams 3-4-5-0 at times. So then the pressure comes of, right, you need to do it again, and that's where your experienced heads came in really good there. So
wearing off, rubbing off on you sort of thing.
Your Sean Quays, your Chris Bass Juniors, obviously unfortunately Frank Jones didn't feature that season because he was injured, but he was captain of the team at the time. Jack McVeigh, like even Lee Gale, Lee Gale's been there and done it for the Ireland team as well. And what sport hasn't he been there and done it for realistically? Them experienced heads with the sort of youthfulness at the time and the talent we've got some serious talent in the team, like Alex Maitland, Mikey Williams, Dan Simpson, Steve Whitley, Ryan Burns. There were so many players that season that were big, strong, like leaders. And you've also you kind of mix it in with the experience as well.
You need that, don't you?
100%, and that's what kind of got us over the line. And we had some magic moments from young players as well throughout the season, like young Charlie Higgins, only 16.
Definitely.
He came on and he was scoring goals. Adam Meelan, he's been in and around it as well. Like we had some really good players at the time. And it kind of just all blended perfectly into this one magical football season.
Yeah, definitely. And then that pressure, how would you deal with it?
It's tough. You just have to learn to get on with it. And
you can only do the best you can do, can't you? At the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think I always tried having the mentality and mindset of, well, they only want the best for us. Like it's not like a Premier League team where people are paying money and they really like get on the player.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, bloody
so
hell.
rough, isn't it?
It's brutal. Whereas I could tell, and you get the vibe and you get the feel that they really just wanted, down at the bowl, they really wanted the best for you and the team, and they really just bought into everything that we were doing. So the pressure, also at times, there's a quote by Adam Killier, our goalkeeper, but pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
So we take that on board, and we took it on board in the first season, and obviously all the seasons we've been a part of the club.
Right.
And you do just learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like it's your first touch, your first pass, your first shot.
Yeah.
Like whatever you do in a game, once you do something well, it eases the nerves, it gets you in, and that roar of like, I know it sounds funny to say roar of the crowd because it's only a couple of thousand, but it was a roar. It was a roar of the crowd.
Blowing right.
And the first good pass, or the first goal, or the tackle, whether it was a defender making a tackle, that roar behind you from the crowd, it really did spur you on as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How do you find playing on the ball, Sean? Because we've done rugby trains on the ball in the past, and that 4G skins your legs up pretty harsh.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah.
Does that come into mind when you're playing?
It does. Yeah,
It must do, surely.
Yeah, it's two impacts. I think it's one, it's on the body, and two, I kind of don't know whether sometimes some of the teams we play against, they're so good on the 4G pitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of a bit of it's a hindrance for us. It kind of works in their favour more than it does ours.
Okay.
But yeah, so I find it brutal, especially we train on it twice a week.
Yeah, that's rough, mate.
And then, but a lot of the teams we play against, they all have 4G pitches now as well, just because it's all weather. So I think Earlham was one of the teams in our league. They had 7 or 8 games called off because of a waterlogged pitch or
really?
unfit pitch. So
That's
having that
hassle,
4G pitch is, and also it's money at the end of the day for some of these away teams. If you've got a team like Bury who are going to bring 2,000 travelling fans with them, yeah. So that's like Bury takes them. We played at their place, and they had, I think it was 4,000 fans watching us.
Oh my God, I didn't realise it was that scale.
Last game of the season, they had 8,700 fans at the game. In and around that number.
That's savage.
They're an anomaly for the league because they were in League 2 and League 1, and then they went bust and it started again.
Rebuilt.
Yeah, but typically, like having a fan base at Bury come to your ground, it makes a lot of money for the club. That could be what keeps your club afloat for the season or not.
Definitely, because they'll be having pints. They'll be
they they absolutely love it.
Go out and they'll be in Nag's Head at 10 in the morning, getting 100%. A few scoops in before the game.
Yeah, they bring a lot of fans over. West Didsbury, another one, they brought 300-400 fans over this season. And they come for the week. It was on Easter weekend, so they come Friday to Monday.
Tour inside.
They're going.
That's great for the Isle of Man economy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the selling points at Paul Jones. That sometimes I think people forget about the club as well. That it's not just Manx football. It's about the community. It's about what it brings to the island as well. Like the money it will bring throughout the whole season from players and fans coming over, spending hard-earned cash in the community. Yeah, it's good.
That is very important. And when you're sat in those changing rooms, are you thinking to yourself, I'm going outside here to represent the Isle of Man or to represent the club sort of thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, both. So I have the same feeling for both teams. Like, so obviously I'm going to the Island Games, like I mentioned before, and that's a really proud moment because I'm representing the national team.
Definitely.
But I still say for both, I'm still Manx and proud, and I'm still representing the Isle of Man. Just in 2 different capacities, I'd say.
Yes.
One is the club football, but realistically, we're still a Manx team. We're still representing the island, and we're still showcasing the island as well.
If you've got bad behaviour or something, people will be thinking.
Absolutely, I'm sure my behaviour's not been perfect at times on the pitch. I'm maybe caused a few moments here or there. No one's perfect, but yeah, absolutely. I was, regardless of what team it's for, and still for FC IOM, I'm still going on that pitch thinking I'm representing all the people here supporting us and representing the Isle of Man. So let's make sure that we're doing them justice.
Can't be a complete shit house.
No, absolutely. Mildly, but yeah, not a complete. Yeah, 100%.
So how long have you captained it for, Sean? Is this something that was just that first season whilst your man was injured, or have you carried on that sort of captaincy?
No, yeah. So Frank Jones was really unlucky. He got injured first game of the season, first ever game in the league.
Right.
So yeah, huge issue. He'd scored the goal and then he went on and got injured. So I wasn't actually at that game. I wasn't part of the squad. But yeah. So then Frank got injured, missed the whole season, and there's a few other lads kind of here and there, like Lee Gale was captain of the team at some points, Jack McVeigh had, And then I can't really remember at what point I got the armband. I think it was maybe November time. I think I just remember Chris Bass giving me the armband one game. And then, obviously his decision, and he gave me the armband for the rest of the season.
Right.
So, Frank was unfortunate not to make it back by the end of the season. So it was a special moment. Frank and I were able to lift the trophy together when we won the playoff final. And then, Frank came back second season. I got injured first game of the second season. So then it was basically between Frank and I, whoever was on the pitch, we would be the captain.
Okay.
And then Frank finished with the club the third season. And then Paul Jones for the fourth season that's just finished. He asked me to be club captain. So we kind of had a captain's group, like a leadership group, where because of work and injuries, like I can't stay fit. That's a kind of an ongoing joke. If I was on the pitch, I'd be captain. But if I wasn't on the pitch, then Steve Whitley or Jack McVeigh.
Yeah.
Or Dan Hattersley, that was like your leadership group.
How do you treat being captain, though?
It's an honour.
Is that an honour, or does that add to the pressure?
Both, 100% adds to the pressure, because there's an expectation, one as a striker, two as now an experienced and senior player in the team, and three as a captain. It adds a lot of pressure and expectation. But once again, it's kind of a privilege to wear that armband, to walk the boys out home and away.
Yeah, lead from the front. Is that your sort of view on it?
Yeah, that's how I've always been. I might not be like Frank has always been, like a real driving force, vocally, and the way he plays, and has always will be a fantastic leader. Mine was always like I wanted to kind of set the example. I'm not saying Frank wasn't that, but I probably wasn't that real Mr. Motivator, screaming and shouting every minute of the game. But more I wanted to try to set the tone, and this is how we're going to play, and be that example.
Smash into someone.
Occasionally, I'd usually come off worse, but
lay into someone.
Absolutely,
what's going on?
And that was the role, and I'm sure probably at times I haven't been perfect with it. You learn as you go. But I would definitely say it's an absolute privilege to any team that I've been a captain of.
It's respectable, mate.
100%, and
it's respectable. You can't say, well, you've not tried your best if you're captain, can you?
Absolutely, you have to give it your all. So it was a real nice thing for Paul to ask me to be the club captain. So I don't know who will be club captain next year, but I hope they also understand
exciting times.
The honour that they will have to be captain of a good club.
So what do they do when their captain leaves? Then do you think people will leave with you because they trusted in your captaincy, or do you think that they'll try and change something with the style of captain that they've got there?
I don't know. It's a tough one in the group they have at the minute. I don't know who's the best next person to step in and be the captain for next season and beyond. Obviously Steve's a really great guy, unbelievable footballer. So Steve Whitley he's captained the club over the last couple of years. So he could also be a perfect fit for it. And then, like you say, you don't know whether Paul and the management think, you know what, let's mix it up a little bit here and do something different. Is there somebody else, maybe a younger player, like Steve, no disrespect to him, he's getting on a little bit now in that sense.
Kicking up the years.
Absolutely.
I hope he's not listening to this.
So then you've got other players like a Jacob Crook, who's going to be around for years and years. And I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of Paul, but he's got some good options there where people can easily step in and be the next captain of the club.
Right. So how are you treating the stepping down from the club? How are you treating that sort of situation after being there from the beginning?
Yeah, to be honest,
that must be. It's almost a relief that you don't have to do it anymore, but you're going to miss it too, surely.
100%. Yeah, the lads still make jokes that they think I'm going to come back.
You probably will,
because they think I'll miss it too much. And yeah, it's been an amazing 4 years of my life, unbelievable. When I first went into it in the first season, I alluded to it a little bit there. I didn't get picked. I wasn't in the squad for the first game. I spent 5-6 games on the bench, not really part of their plans, and it was only really and I hate to say it's because of Frank's injury that kind of got me into the squad a little bit.
Right.
I meant I was featuring more.
Yeah.
And then I think Lee Gale might have picked up a bit of an injury. So then I started one game, scored a goal, and then I kind of just a knock-on effect. Just an absolute snowball effect from there. So I went into it very much. Not really thinking I was going to be a huge player or have a huge impact on the club, but I wanted to be part of the journey. And then I look back 4 years later, and I never thought I'd be.
Strange that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd never thought I was going to be obviously scored the goals I scored, be part of the journey that we went on, achieving what we achieved in the first season, but also being captain and being one of the leaders of the team.
Shocker, really.
Yeah, I didn't predict it, but it kind of, I feel for me that kind of sums up everything I've done over the last 10 years in sport, that a lot of the time I feel like people might have written me off at times or not expected the best of me, and it gives me fuel to the fire to want to go and prove them wrong.
Come back fighting.
Absolutely, and that's kind of like what I had when I was a child with my brother. I wanted to prove people wrong. I wanted to prove him wrong, that I was as good as him and whatnot. So it's kind of I've always had that chip on the shoulder. Let's go and prove people wrong. So
definitely. So what's next then?
Golf.
Here we are. Golf. You take up golf now.
So I've always played golf. But I've always played golf, but I want to take it a bit more seriously now. So
how do you take golf seriously?
So
or more seriously?
More seriously.
That's an interesting one.
Spend more time playing it, as first of all, more practice, like in any sport.
Apparently, you can waste hours and hours playing golf.
Wasting hours is an impressive thing you can do in golf.
Once you're down the rabbit hole of golf, apparently you can't turn back.
Absolutely, no, but I love it. So my granddad was a scratch golfer back in Ireland.
Okay, what does a scratch golfer mean, by the way?
So in golf, you get a handicap, and depending on how good or bad you are, the higher handicap you have, the bad player you are. So if it starts 54 and it works all the way down to 0.
Okay.
And depending on what your number handicap is, that's how many shots you get additional on top of the strokes you get to. So say you have your handicap's 18. That means for every shot on the golf course, 18 holes, you get an extra shot to make par.
Right. Okay. So they have set shots that you should be hitting.
Yes, you
on
have
each hole.
Yeah. So depending on the distance of the hole, you've got a par 3 for the shorter holes, par 4s for the mid-length holes, and par 5s for the long holes.
Okay.
So then, if your handicap's 18, rather than a par 3,
wouldn't be anywhere near that.
Yeah, let's go with 54. But yeah, depending on your handicap, so on a par 3, rather than the 3 shots being your par, you then get 4 shots to be your par.
Right. So what happens if you're hitting it under it?
Under it, you're then under your handicap, so your handicap comes down. So like the best boys on the island, like your like Darragh Callister's, your James O'Neill's, your Tom Gandy's, Rob Noon's, all these boys will be off scratch, or they then go to a plus number because they're so good, so they get shots taken off them.
Right, so they're going under the course recommendations.
So you could have a par 69, which is the par is you have to have 69 shots to shoot the course level score. And then because they're so good, then it's like 66, 67, 68 instead.
Right. So who's keeping track of it? Are you tracking it yourself?
Yeah, your playing partners keep a track of it. So
they hold you accountable for it?
Yeah. So it's a really addictive sport. So
I can imagine. I think that would be something that if you start, you're bugging. I've only swung a golf ball. I think I've only done golf once, and it was only a piss up. But
it's unbelievable. So our football team, FC, and we've done it. It's quite a common tradition. Our football teams will go and do a golf day at the end of the season. So Steve Whitley's organising one.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to watch some of these footballers who cannot swing a golf club. Like Luke Murray, apologies to call him out here, but he won't mind me saying he's an absolutely unbelievable footballer. But golfing, Jesus Christ,
terrible.
He could he's 6'6", probably about 16 stone. He's an absolute mountain of a boy. And I've never seen someone struggle so much to hit a golf ball at times.
Just hit 5 yards.
But then he can hit one, and bloody hell, it goes.
If he catches it right.
It's an absolute rocket. It's a missile going down the fairway.
What sort of skills do you need? Is it all hand-eye coordination?
Everything. Timing, hand-eye coordination, balance. It's everything. It's all about how you like the feel in your hand. There's so much that goes into it. That's why I find it really interesting, because there's so many factors.
You get down in the nitty gritty, don't you?
So many little
as a man that goes down.
There's so many little bit of details. Just to hit one golf shot right, you have to get all the details perfectly right, and then you have to do it 60, 70 times to shoot a good score. So,
do you get wound up if you hit a shit one?
I'm quite level-headed, so I try and move on from it pretty quickly. But there's some boys that I'm not going to mention any names, but there's some boys that I play with that can get pretty frustrated.
That would wind me right up.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I'd have the club wrapped around a tree or something.
Yeah, I've seen that in my time. Yeah, I've seen all sorts happen. I've seen clubs launched, wrapped around trees, snapped over the leg. You've seen all sorts.
Seriously.
But
is it serious? Like even on the Isle of Man, I know nothing about golf.
Yeah, it's a serious.
I know you walk around and it's quite social game.
Yeah, well, some people say it's a good walk ruined. That's what their joke is about golf.
That's actually quite funny. Never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a good walk round, is what people say about golf. But then for me, I love it because, like, no matter what level of golf you're trying to do, whether it's a competitive round, like I played yesterday morning, a competitive round.
Yeah.
And I'm still with my mates for 4 hours of my morning, talking about everything. Like, one of my mates is getting married at the minute, so we're spending 4 hours talking about wedding plans. We're talking about work. We're talking about friends, family, and it's like, for anything, it's really good to spend time with your friends.
Definitely.
Maybe you're ruining it a little bit when you're playing. You can't play golf in between, but
Yeah.
you're out in the sun, shorts and t-shirt, shooting the breeze with your mates.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great
positive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really good. And then obviously sometimes we'll do like football golf days where we'll get the beers in.
Yeah, let's
One of the boys is going around in a buggy with all the beers in an ice bucket, and
that would be me. I think I'd just be that guy, just drive the buggy round.
Yeah,
I think.
we won't tell you too many stories, but yeah, it's not. You have some shots. You've got the funnel coming out.
Yeah,
and
let's
you have
go.
a proper laugh on the golf course as well.
Nice.
So yeah, no matter what it is,
there's different sides
to it. Different levels of fun and seriousness that you can have on the golf course. So yeah.
Right. So what's the future then? Where do you see yourself now? You've put the past behind you in a sense. You've obviously great memories.
Yeah.
Great time with the lads. Into golf. What's the goal there? Where are you seeing yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. I'll still play football as well for Corinthians.
Are you going to still play a bit of football?
I'll play local football as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got
Seàn Doyle back at Corinthians. Let's go.
So I'm looking forward to go back to the club football and play with some of my friends there. And then in terms of golf, I don't know. Like I've always had the ambition to try and.
You're gonna take it too serious, man.
I'm that guy. I'm all or nothing.
You're gonna be all in on you.
I'm an all or nothing guy.
See that from a mile away.
So I don't know. I'd love to say I want to be a scratch golfer, but I'm also well aware that where I'm at now to where scratch golf is, it's a bit of a journey along the way. But
yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 30.
Oh Christ, you got years, most golfers are 60.
My body is probably twice the age of my actual age, but I'll give it a good shot and see how I get on.
Literally, good shot.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah,
pun intended there.
That's cool, man. No, I think that what you're doing on the Isle of Man in the sense of sports, Sean, is pretty respectable in my opinion. I see that as something that's, especially playing rugby for Douglas and seeing how much time and effort it takes to do such a thing. It's quite commendable, really.
Thank you, mate.
What sort of advice would you give to someone who's, Herb's 15, if they're wanting to sort of get into FC Isle of Man or take sports seriously on the Isle of Man? What sort of advice would you give them?
It's hard. Like for me, I would always just I've had this attitude. Did it in basketball, did it in football. That I just wanted to outwork everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it was running, some fitness and training, or whatever it is, I always just wanted to beat everybody there, and it's probably my competitive side as well. So yeah, just work really, really hard. Trust yourself, and I've always said you're going to get knocks along the way, like injuries, or it's going to be a coach telling you that they don't think you're good enough. I could reel off the amount of times that different coaches, PE teachers, other people in my life have told me that they don't think I'm good enough for this level, I'm not good enough for this, that, the other. And I've always just had that grit of wanting to prove them wrong. And that's an advice I would try and give to other people that are, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a young adult, that don't always just take what coaches say. Yes, you want to listen to them and take their advice, but sometimes you're going to have to find your own path along the way. And however you might do that, just give it your all along the way, and I guarantee you'll succeed and make some good things and good memories along the way as well.
Definitely. I think that's pretty good.
There you go.
That's a good bit of advice for anyone young listening, and it's a nice way to sort of lead us into the end of this podcast, Sean, and start wrapping this thing up. I think it's important that people on the Isle of Man understand what FC Isle of Man are trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
That needs to be clear so that they can start climbing up the ramps, and people actually want to put into it, like you say, that split between Manx footy and that club going away is.
And also for me, what the club
is a little bit touchy at times, isn't it?
I wish that there was more sports that followed suit. I played with a chap the other day in golf. Actually, he's big into the hockey scene over here.
Yeah.
And it would have been great if you see hockey in 5 years' time doing similar.
Yes.
And I think there's quite a lot of politics that go on in hockey, the way rugby does.
Yes.
Football, they've kind of been forced to get on with it because it's happened, and credit where it's due to Paul Jones and everyone behind the scenes at FC IOM for getting the idea off the ground.
Yeah.
But I'd love it if rugby and hockey and other sports did it as well, because I think it would be a really beneficial thing for sport in general. I know rugby, obviously you've got Douglas and Vagabonds and other teams that travel.
Rugby's very political as well. Man. But hockey's blowing up, mate.
Yeah,
the amount of hockey, I can't believe
insane.
The amount of hockey on the Isle of Man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's almost, I'd say, probably not far off growth-wise in the sense of last 5-10 years. When I was at school, I didn't know any lads who played hockey, really.
Neither did I. No.
It was almost a girl's sport, if that makes sense, when I was a kid.
Absolutely was.
And
yeah,
now...
we used to take the mick out of lads who
definitely.
played hockey. And,
I did.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And I still chat to parents whose kids are... Like, there's Neil Grimley, who works at Standard Bank. His young lad is, from what I hear, is a very, very, very talented hockey player.
Yeah.
But Neil is having to go take his son away quite a lot to go and play hockey in the UK, because there's no real link for him to be able to go and challenge himself.
Apparently that's the problem, isn't it?
And this is why, once again, what FC IOM's done with the football scene is giving everybody that. And yes, it's hard because if your kid's talented, you can't at 14 go and chuck him in a men's hockey, rugby or football team.
No.
But it's that target for every kid to work towards.
Yes.
So it would be fantastic if hockey, rugby... I'm sure there's
probably
probably
whatever else.
Yeah,
there is.
and even then, touching again, it'd be great if FC IOM had a women's team in 5 years' time as well.
Yeah.
And let's try and help the women's football team grow, not just for the actual women, but the girls' age groups as well. So under 16s, like
what's women's football like on the Isle of Man? Is it popular?
It's hard. I think it's that
I don't
really
know anything about
yeah,
that.
it has a real challenge with netball. Probably hockey as well. I don't know too much exactly what the main challenges are, but when I played basketball and also when I played football, I know there was a lot of girls' preference was to go and play netball, or hockey as well. So
just the done thing.
Yeah, it's hard. I think there's some really, really amazing people in women's football that are still trying to churn out numbers and keep driving it forward. And it's from what I hear and what I see, it looks like they're doing some good work. But naturally, it's participation, which is the key thing, which is a main struggle. So getting girls in at a young age into the sport. But like, I go down on a Saturday and Sunday sometimes when I'm watching my girlfriend's cousin's kid play.
Yeah.
And there is hundreds of kids down at the bowl from 10 a.m. all the way through to 12. You've got girls and boys playing together. And that's what I love. Like, even
great to see.
I live in Castletown, and every night at the minute there's 10 kids who have got 2 goals out in the estate kicking footballs. I'm like, that was my childhood.
Yeah.
Me
in there.
Me and my mate Ryan Burns up at the school field every night kicking footballs about. Like, that is a core memory. So anything that we can all be doing to be trying to drive kids' participation, it's a massive thing.
100%. Amen to that. I think that's a sort of a good way to wrap this up. And you've almost answered my final question, Sean, which is always happens. But anyway, I'll ask you anyway. So at the end of these episodes, we ask this question so that everybody is sort of looking forward to it at the end of the episode. So the question is, if you could change or improve one thing about the Isle of Man, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
Now, we ask this on every episode. Have a little think for a moment. No dramas.
That is a big question.
It is. And I think it's an important one because it puts ideas out there. That's why we ask it.
Absolutely. It could be controversial, me saying this.
Say whatever, we're a free platform. But that,
for me, and from what I've seen in sport and in general life in the Isle of Man, I feel like there can be a lot of negativity in dragging people down when people succeed. Like, I see it in sport all the time. There's a new kid coming through in any sport, and I've heard he or she is very, very talented, and then in the same breath you have someone that will criticise. So I'd love to try and change one thing, if I could change it, is change people's mentality towards always bigging people up, giving people confidence,
definitely.
and giving people a pat on the back as well. Like, it really does seem like we always joke, it's the Isle of Man way. But
Manx crabs.
Yeah, Manx crabs. Like, let's like abolish that mentality and that thought process, and
definitely.
Like, we really, in the sporting scene, really bat above our weight in terms of athletes that we produce time and time again.
Do we?
So if we can keep growing them and giving them confidence and really trying to like nurture and just grow the community as a positive thing rather than criticizing and dragging people down when you see people succeeding. You see it all the time in Manx sport, especially, but Manx life as well.
And that's something you like to change or improve.
100%. Let's change it. Let's big people up. Let's get around them, arms around the shoulders. Let's really like compliment and encourage rather
Sports is all about, isn't it?
Absolutely is. Yeah, 100% is. And competition's healthy. It always is. But yeah, let's change that.
Thank you very much, Sean.
No worries.
It's a nice way to finish it. If there's anything else you'd like to say, anyone you'd like to shout out, shout out FC Isle of Man Facebook page, anything like that?
No, I just want to thank you. Thank everyone at FC Isle of Man as well. Obviously, it's been 4 amazing years, so thank you for the memories.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Seàn Doyle. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
Perfect.